Hello, I'm Maggie Colwell. I'm with Chiron Art Therapy, and I am pretty excited about what I'm showing you today. I thought I would do a little unboxing video for the art kit that I've put together. It's part of a special winter offering that I'm doing as a way of getting to know how I work, how to do some art therapy, really take care of yourself, stress relief, self-care, soul work. I wanted to show you what I have going on. I finally got all the pieces, and I'm so excited to be able to offer this for everybody for the holidays, for some real self-care and some inner work and introspection and a little bit of creative play too. What I have is, it's a nice white box. I'm going to have a handwritten thank you card from me. If this was something that you were giving to somebody, I would go ahead and write that in for you. And for those of you that are picking it up in person or want to do the art experience in person, the kit will be available in my office with this lovely satin bow on it. For any of you that are going to have this shipped, the bow would be on the inside to keep it nice and fresh looking, but still have that holiday feel. I'm going to unwrap it and show you what's inside here. There we go. And this box really is, I made sure it was one of those boxes that would feel like you could actually store your kit in this. It would fit pretty good on a bookshelf or something like that. It comes all wrapped up in nice teal tissue. It'll have the little Chiron Art Therapy sticker on there and the bow if it's been shipped. It's really going to have kind of that premium gift feel to it. First thing that somebody will come across, a little note from me, list of what's inside. And part of this art therapy experience, it really is the sessions that you're doing personal work. And a lot of times people get something out of art therapy that they wouldn't out of traditional talk therapy because it's a little bit more gentle. A lot of times where you're playing and you're exploring, those kind of things, you find a kind of a connection with parts of yourself and your unconscious through the art making experimentation process itself that you may not find when you're talking, because you're used to talking about your normal day-to-day habitual things that you say, hey, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. How are you? And we skip through that when we're doing art. So it touches a deeper part of you. So if somebody hasn't already scheduled their experiential pieces of this kit, then they could do through my scheduler with the QR code. So next, layers in here. And even the tissue paper is art supplies. With art therapy, you save everything, like everything can be incorporated into your art making. So it comes with my kind of several page guide for getting yourself started with a home practice. And all of this is completely appropriate for someone who has no art experience, no talent. That's not what art therapy is about. It's about exploring, doing something with your hands, doing something that's visual, activate your brain differently than talking would. So what do we got in here? So it's quite a little stack of supplies going on in here. We've got oil pastels and some chalk pastels. I really like Blick as a company. They've got access to good prices, really good quality of things, and they've got great customer service too. Nice pack of watercolor brushes and a generous watercolor palette. And you can even use the top of the palette as a way to mix paint. So that's get you started with painting. These, which I don't think you would normally see in a beginner art kit. It's a couple of smudge sticks. They are great for blending with both chalk and oil pastel. And what comes with this is this little set of sandpaper to be able to clean the sides of the blenders. So once you get pigment on it, you can get it clean again. And these last a long time. I have a set of fine tip smelly Mr. Sketch markers to get a little bit of sensory playfulness in there too. And these have a lot of pigment in them, so they're bright and they're fun. I have a couple of different types of adhesive. Glue stick, that's good for not making a mess. And nori paste. This is a cute little pot of paste here. Nori paste is non-toxic. I believe it's made with almonds. It is really good for thicker things that the glue stick wouldn't be wet enough for. If I was going to glue this onto something, I would probably use the nori paste. It stays wet too, so if you need to reposition something, that's possible. And it smells good. Not in a weird way, it like smells good in a nice, pleasant way. I really enjoy this as a material to use. I have one of my ColumbusArtTherapy.com pencils thrown in here, but it keeps going. Underneath some of the tissue paper, I have some samples of scrapbook paper. There is, I can get it all out of here. All right, we've got a piece of premium watercolor paper for that painting. I've thrown in here a quote and some different pages from the magazine for some little Kismet collage. Here's another one of those with some like journal prompts on it. Couple more pieces of scrapbook paper. And if you had a favorite color, you could definitely do this as a theme and I'd work that into that. Here's another piece of watercolor paper, a little bit thinner. I have some sanded paper. It's scratchy, it's got a lot of tooth on it. That is good for chalk pastel, for really layering those colors. A piece of pastel paper that's a little bit smoother, it's black. You can really get a sharp contrast going from black to your lights. And then a piece of velour paper. This feels almost like velvet. Everybody wants to rub their faces on it and things like that when they're playing around with this. Another sensory element in here that's really about pleasure and enjoyment. Also in here, I have a couple pieces of drawing paper and some newsprint, which is practice paper. There's some more drawing paper. And then what I have here is a piece of folded paper that's longer, that is the kind of paper that we would be using for one of the two sessions. One of the sessions is a kind of like year review, self-care, stress relief session. And then the second session is a vision board. And that's the kind of paper that we'd be using. It would come right in there in your kit. I thought I got my vision board out here. I don't know where I put it. It was hiding, buried under all this kit goodness. Okay, I do one of these every year. It's my intention setting for the beginning of the year. And my year did not end up the way I expected it to this year. I had to deal with a lot of medical issues and was recovering a lot. But I still was able to set what I thought was important and what I wanted to feed and nurture for the year. I had one about taking care of my body, one about spending time with my family, creativity. I've still got someday I want a house in the back of my head. And then this one I think is the most important for me, that really felt aligned for me this year, was images of symbols from my dreams. This thing in the middle is a painting that Carl Jung did in the Red Book. And this one was about feeding my soul and continuing my training at the Institute in Zurich. And it says, "The voice of the soul speaks." So that I was making a practice of listening. And that one I feel was the most connected. And they can look really different. Like this is one that I did several years before that. It has a lot more writing in it. There was a lot more planning that year. And you can play around with it. The vision board is that second individual session. And if you were interested in more of a DIY kind of a thing, you want to do these things on your own, I'm going to be offering that session, the vision board session, as a workshop as well. There's going to be an in-person group session that's small, in my office in Columbus. And then there's going to be another option that's online, which I don't do very often. If you were thinking about getting together, really setting some intentions, wanting to try the way I work with things, of listening to your soul, like listening to that introspective place, that would be the perfect way to do it. I will have all of those links available. There's also a link in my bio, so you can check it out there. And yeah, I hope this was fun. I'm happy to answer questions, and I'm really excited to be able to be offering this for the end of the year. If you were the kind of person where you're like, oh my God, what do I get for my mother-in-law, or somebody like that needs that self-care and that little bit of pampering, but they seem to have everything already and you don't want to get something that feels common, this would be really a good way to do that. And if you were thinking about just maybe you need it for you, yeah, please drop a comment. Let me know what you're thinking about for the year, what you need for your own self-care and rest, because that's the themes I'm going to be focusing on for the rest of the year. Thank you.